Welcome to Kevin Deal Photography, where I take you on my journey through photography. On today's episode, we're going to take a deep dive into the AI skin retouching software, Reblum. I'm pleased to announce the release of my Capture One and Lightroom presets, Metamorphic Portraits, The Sound of Silver, and Rangefinder. These are all available for purchase at my website. Go to kevindealphotography.com or check out a link in the description below. And now, on to today's episode. Welcome to today's episode. If you're not familiar with Kevin Deal Photography, we do gear reviews, tips, techniques, and tutorials, and sometimes we dive into film. If any of that sounds appealing to you, click the subscribe button below. Reblum is an AI skin retouching tool designed specifically for portrait photographers and retouchers. Since I do both, I think that gives me a solid perspective to review this software. Before we dive in, a quick note for transparency. I was paid to make this video, but not to follow a script. I charged Reblum my standard rate for producing a 10 to 20 minute video, the same as I would for any client. If you hire me to shoot video for your wedding, I have a rate. If you hire me to shoot a review of software, that's still my time, and so therefore I still have a rate. That said, I have full editorial freedom, and I'll be sharing both what I like and what I don't like about the software. Like I said, I'm a working professional, so I feel like it's reasonable to charge people for my professional time. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's take a look at Reblum. As I mentioned, Reblum is built for portrait photographers and retouchers. What immediately stands out is how simple and streamlined it is. I'll walk you through the interface, which won't take long. They've basically boiled it down to a couple of sliders and a drop-down box and a toggle between a couple different editing modes. One thing that we should note is that Reblum works as a standalone application or as a plugin. Since my workflow goes from Capture One to Photoshop and back, I'll be using it as a plugin within Photoshop for this review. Now, let's get started. All right, so first and foremost, I want to talk about my editing style. I'm a very light touching editor. I don't want it to look like a porcelain doll. So I'm going to gravitate toward a program that will have a lighter handed touch. So let's explore Reblum and we'll see how light it is or how heavy it is. But I will tell you right off the bat that I'm not gonna like blast people's faces, and I hope that that's not what this program does. So let's start, and we're gonna start with me. Yes, that's right. We're gonna use a picture of me, and we're gonna edit it because this is probably closer to what you're going to edit on a day-to-day basis if you're a headshot photographer. Yes, I do edit agency models, and their skin tends to be pretty easy to work with. So we're going to edit me for starters. We'll edit a few different types of files today. That way we can go through different skin types, skin tones, colors, etc. Older, younger skin, harder, softer, light, etc. So I'm in Capture One. We are going to edit with Photoshop first because my workflow is that I go into Photoshop, and I want to show you that this program is in fact a plugin in addition to being a standalone program. So Photoshop is open already. It's loading my file into Photoshop. And of course, with best practices, you always want to hit Command J and just create a new layer for your setup in case you don't like the way that the edit went. Now let's go ahead and go up to Filter. Let's go to Reblum Retouch. And we're going to open it up, and we're going to see how fast this program processes and how heavy or light-handed it is. Now let's just do a quick overview of the interface. You can see right here, this is a bar, and it's going to process things. Now I'm doing high quality here, so I'm assuming that takes a little longer. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. A lot of you have a lot more than that. I'm using a 2021 iMac. So this is not exactly a super fast machine, but I don't think that was a super slow processing time. So far, we're off on the right foot. There's a natural and a fashion. Now for headshots with skin like mine, we would want it to be natural. I don't think fashion and glowy skin is exactly what we're looking for a 44-year-old man doing corporate headshots here. But let's zoom in and see what happens when we make adjustments. So you can see that my skin, like, let's just, right here, this little eye right here, this is what my skin looks like normally. You can see I have like a little bit of discoloration here, you know, age appropriate wrinkles and things like that. My teeth could be a little better. I guess I need to start that Crest teeth whitening, huh? But that's a different app for that. So we're gonna look at the skin, and you can see with nothing, and then when you turn the general up, it seems to be doing like a dodge and burn. You can see a little bit of a shadow where I didn't necessarily get my lighting perfect here, and that's on me, and that kind of helps me out. That kind of evens out my skin. It takes care of a little bit of the bags under my eyes. If we go all the way up on it, and you can see right here the texture, we can leave texture in, we can smooth it out. And I'm just gonna show you fashion, even though I don't think fashion will look good on my skin. It's gonna do a quick process of that. And I think, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty heavy-handed. That looks a little fake on my skin. It might work well for fashion, but for headshots, I think this is a little bit more, yeah, that's a little bit more in line with what I do. So I would say the general, I'd put it probably right here. I'd leave a little bit of texture because, you know, I'm a man, I have harder skin. That's pretty normal for a 40-something-year-old male. There are presets for balance, fast, ultra fast. I just do the high quality because I want to see everything. And that's pretty much it. So when I'm done with this, I can hit OK. And then it will save it. And you can see now that I have 2 layers in Photoshop, there it is with it and without it. So like an A/B comparison. And it's subtle. And so far I like that because I don't like retouching to make your skin look like porcelain. I want it to make it look like your skin maybe like on your best day ever, right? So I'm gonna hit Command E here, and then I'm gonna send this back on over to Capture One. So that was a quick edit of my skin, and that's acceptable for a corporate headshot. You don't want something to be too crazy, right? Let's do this model right here. So she's got some freckles, and I wanna see how heavy-handed the editing goes on the freckles. So let's go ahead and send this on over to Photoshop. We've got our background layer here, and we're gonna hit Command J, and this will be, I can even name this if you want me to. We can call it Reblum. So there we go, Reblum. Let's go into Reblum, Retouch, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go heavier handed on this one, okay? So we're gonna give her, even though I use softer light and she's got pretty good skin, we're gonna do the fashion just because I wanna take this to the extreme. So fashion, let's push this and see what we get. It's doing its processing. Once again, 16 gigs of RAM. This is still processing it in less than 10 seconds. So for a full face, like dodge and burn, which while it's doing this, I think it's not really doing like frequency separation. It seems like it's doing more of a dodge and burn, kind of a macro dodge and burn. That's what it looks like anyway. I'm not a programmer. I don't write code, but that's kind of what it looks like it's doing to me. So yeah, you can kind of see big patches of her skin are being affected. Now, some things that I don't like, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to take them away, is like here, here, and here, and then right here, there's some freckles that I want to keep. She's got some uniqueness to her skin that we don't want to take away. And I'm not sure I like what's going on up here with her hair where it's smoothing it out. I might want to actually keep some of these freckles here, but we can figure out where we want this texture to be. So this is no texture, this is some texture. It's very subtle, which I like. I'm gonna put it somewhere in the middle, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit OK. So we're gonna hit OK on this. It's gonna take it into Photoshop, and look at this. When I hit, you can see that effect is pretty, I wouldn't say it's super heavy-handed, but it's, you know, when I need it to be heavy-handed, it can be, but it's doing some things, as I'd already mentioned, that I want to fix. So when I turn this off, I can see, like, I like this freckle, I like this freckle. So what I'm going to do inside Photoshop is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit my erase tool, and I can just go in and bring this stuff back. So I can just start erasing it where I want it to come back. So right here, I can bring that back. It's more heavy now than it was. We can bring this back. We're just gonna erase it. I'm gonna pull the opacity up just a little bit more. So you can take that opacity and make it less or more. If you want it to just really come back, you can take the opacity up to 100 and really bring back everything. So she had some kind of freckles over here that I liked that I can kind of draw back in. So you do have the ability to blend the effect by using layers inside Photoshop. And I think that's important because a lot of these AI programs, they just like nuke the face. They'll like put an effect over everything and they won't give you the ability to control things. So like over here, I kind of wanted this hair to be more prominent because that's natural. So I can selectively put what I want in and out. And of course, if I overdo my erases, I can always draw it back in. So here you go. You got the ability to still see those big dodge and burns that happen, but keep those unique things on her face like freckles. And if for some reason you want to blend, you can always go to your opacity and just kind of blend it if you want. So you have more flexibility when you use it as a plugin and you use Photoshop with layers. So that is a nicer example of skin than mine. And we're gonna also do another male, but we're gonna do a younger male, and we're gonna use outdoor light because so far we've been using controlled studio lighting, and you know you can cheat when you're outside. You got no control over that. You're in the sun. You got eye bags because things are up high, and so there's this awesome model here named Jordan. We're gonna send this on over to the shop, the photo shop, and let's just see what we have here. So with Jordan's skin, in general, it's pretty good. You can see a couple little like pimples or something like that up there. So Command J, let's go on over to Reblum, and we're gonna use the natural on his skin because I don't think he needs a lot of glow. All right, so we're gonna take this over to natural. Let's just see how intense this gets. Let's zoom in a little bit. So here is a little bit of like a white head. Let's see if it nukes it or if it doesn't nuke it. And this one's taking a little bit longer, but still compared to like Retouch for me, which is another program I use, it took forever in the high quality mode. So this is already faster than Retouch for me, which I liked Retouch for me, but this is definitely faster than Retouch for me. And it's light-handed, which I like. So it's almost done. We're doing the natural, and let's see what it figures out as we, okay, so you're seeing kind of more of a macro here. I still kind of see a little white head there. It's not a big deal. I can take these two things out pretty quickly. Let me work with the texture here. Let's take the texture all the way one way and the other way. It's very subtle. The texture is very subtle, and let's just so you can see what fashion looks like on his face. It's gonna be a little too glowy for my taste. Is glowy a word? He looks, I mean, from a distance, like if I were shooting for a client that did want the style of a slightly more heavy-handed edit, this could work. So I'm gonna leave a little more texture though. So I'll do the fashion on his skin, but we'll leave a lot of texture, okay? And we'll hit OK. It'll finish processing the image. Once again, I believe I was using a larger megapixel camera here, so it's taking a little bit longer than the first image I showed you. So it's done. All right, cool. So now, before and after. So there's just a couple little things that I have to do kind of a micro touch up to, but still, when you look at this before and after, like this kind of macro dodging and burning, I mean, that would take me probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes to really even that out. And the program's doing it in what, 20, 30 seconds? So that is a significant improvement on time so far, so I like that. There are some things that we will talk about that I think they can improve upon, and we'll talk about that at the end. Let's zoom in. So yeah, I'll just grab my clone stamp tool. I'll go to my subtle darken preset that I have. I will make this a little smaller and just kind of fill those in. This, I'm just gonna draw that dead skin cell out. There we go. And that's pretty good. It did a good job. This is like a natural birthmark here. It didn't take that birthmark out, even with the heavy fashion setup. So it's doing a pretty decent job of not taking out natural like features of someone's skin, like Freckles. He did a little bit more with the last model, but with Jordan, it seemed to do a better job. So there's Jordan. We're gonna send that back. Let's do one more edit before I tell you how I feel about this. We're gonna do somebody who's older than me. I wanna see how well it works with, Wrinkles. She's a professional model. She's very beautiful. She's very age appropriate here. 50-ish, late 50s, mid 50s model, but she's a agency model. So as you can see right here, she has a lot of flyer hairs. That is absolutely my fault. I should have seen those before I took the pictures. And so I'm on the hook for that. However, this kind of stuff happens when we're on a set and we're worried about other things. And something I wish Reblum had was a slider that focused on hair. That would be super helpful because I'm editing skin and you're on the head. Pretty much anything that has to do with the head, I would like to see, hopefully added in future software updates. But let's see how well Reblum Retouch does on a little older skin, but still beautiful. Keep it on the natural side, I think, because I think the fashion preset might be a little heavy, but let's find out. We need to see what the extremes are for different skin types, different skin colors. And so let's see how it works on somebody who is, a little bit on the older side. So it's taken about 20 seconds for this to process, and let's see what the result is. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I can see her face pretty well. You can see that the natural, it's just doing a little bit. You can see her wrinkles are slightly muted, okay? And you're seeing a little bit of discoloration in the skin, natural discoloration that is being kind of dampened down by the program, and it's doing a pretty good job of that. Let's see what happens if we take the texture up and try to smooth things out a little bit more. Okay, I feel like it's doing a pretty good job around the nose as well. Let's see what happens with fashion. The fashion one is actually kind of nice on her. You still see wrinkles, so it's age appropriate, but it's not like overdone. That looks pretty good. And of course you can always change your blend. So you could make it 50% or you can make it 100%. You can see, look at that gradual increase and decrease. And I really like how smooth that is, because there are programs out there that when you move the sliders, it has to like render. It doesn't actually like show you the real-time changes. You just have to move the slider and wait a few seconds, and then it shows you what it does. This, I can really make a determination. So for me, I don't know if I go all the way up, but I'd probably go like 80-ish%, somewhere in there. That looks pretty good. All right, so we've gone through some different skin types: lighter skin, darker skin, younger skin, older skin. And so with these two sliders, the natural and fashion toggle, the 4 presets, there's not a whole lot to the program to discuss. It just does what it does, and we either like it or we don't like it. So let's talk about it. All right, I've used Reblum on some images. I've spent some time with it. Now let's discuss what I liked and didn't like about it. We're going to start in the areas where I'd like to see some improvements. One thing that stands out about Reblum is that it's quite basic. While it does a solid job of skin retouching, there's a lot of unused real estate in this interface where I'd love to see some additional tools. Things like eye whitening, teeth whitening, stray hair removal, radiance, contouring, and other features that retouchers commonly use during the editing process. Adding these would elevate Reblum from a simple skin retouching tool to a more comprehensive all-in-one retouching solution. The program's simplicity will definitely appeal to beginner portrait photographers and retouchers who want quick, effective results. But for more advanced retouchers, you may very well want more. I'd love to see the addition of a basic and advanced mode, giving users access to tools that match their skill level and workflow needs. Another area where Reblum could improve is age-appropriate retouching. When I'm editing a 20-year-old versus a 55-year-old, I need to focus on different parameters, like wrinkles, skin uniformity, and subtle tonal adjustments that vary based off age and skin conditions. Right now, the software mainly focuses on blemish removal and skin texture. While it handles those tasks well, it lacks any AI-driven features to assess the age or needs of the subject. I believe in being outspoken with constructive criticism, especially when it comes to software, because many of these things can be addressed in future updates. Depending on when you're watching this video, it's possible that some of these features I've mentioned have already been implemented. Alright, speaking of what I just got done talking about, that they roll out new things all the time with software, I just got done talking to Leela at Reblum, and she says that from mid-autumn through early winter, we'll be rolling out a series of updates with shine removal, skin tone correction, teeth whitening and correction, eye enhancement, and hair removal. So there you go. You may be seeing this review before those come out, but if you want to buy the program, you will be getting those in future updates. Now let's talk about the features of this program, which may very well win you over and improve your retouching workflow. While Reblum only has 2 sliders, they're surprisingly powerful, and the results are applied with a light touch, which aligns well with how I prefer to retouch. In my view, skin should have pores, it should have texture. A professional retouch should make someone look like they're having their best skin day, not like a different person entirely. And to Reblum's credit, that's exactly what its algorithm delivers. I think Reblum really reaches its full potential for people such as myself when it's used as a plugin. While it's a powerful standalone program, it really shines when integrated into Photoshop's workflow. The ability to work with layers is what makes it so effective for fine adjustments, and that's exactly how I approach retouching. For example, I like to use my stylus pen to bring back freckles with precision, and Reblum's seamless integration with Photoshop's layer system makes that possible. Another major advantage of Reblum is its speed. Most of my stills come from cameras between 40 and 100 megapixels, so I'm working with very large files. Even so, the program's initial analysis took no more than about 20 seconds before applying the effect. From there, as I adjusted the slider, the changes rendered fluidly in real time. That's a big deal because nearly every other AI skin retouching program I've tested introduces some sort of lag, usually a blurry render while it catches up. With Reblum, the adjustments are smooth and immediate, which is critical for an efficient workflow. And as I stated earlier in this episode, I'm using a half-decade-old iMac with only 16 gigabytes of RAM. Many of you are going to have better computers than I do, and your experience will be faster than mine. The program operated with great stability in both standalone and plug-in mode. And speed matters. Time is money. A traditional professional retouch can easily take 10 minutes to even an hour or more, depending on how much work is needed. With Reblum, I can achieve comparable results in a fraction of that time because much of the heavy lifting is done by the program, freeing me up to focus on what I actually love doing, being behind the camera. And if you're a wedding or an event photographer who takes a high volume of photos, Reblum has a batch processing feature that saves you time as well. And I should mention that batch processing is completely offline. If you value both you and your client's privacy, Reblum has you covered. It runs entirely on your device with no cloud dependency, meaning your client's images never leave your computer. There's no hidden AI training or data harvesting going on in the background. For photographers who value that, this may very well be a huge selling point for you. One of the biggest pros of Reblum is its flexible pricing structure, which I'll put a link to it below and you can check the current prices. Unlike some programs, it doesn't use a credit-based system. There's no per export fee. If you prefer subscriptions, they offer both monthly and yearly plans. But if you're not a fan of subscriptions, they have a one-time lifetime license. That's the option that makes the most sense to me. You can install it on 2 computers and get all future updates included. At the time of this recording, you can get the lifetime license for about half of what you should be charging for a single headshot session. So who should consider Reblum and who might want to look elsewhere? If you're looking for an all-in-one editing suite, this is not it. Reblum won't whiten eyes, change hair color, remove stray hairs, reshape bodies, or erase tattoos. It's not a Swiss Army knife program, it's a specialist tool. What it does excel at is the macro level heavy lifting. It evens out large patches of skin where light and dark tones are unbalanced, and it does so quickly and effectively. That saves me a significant amount of time, allowing me to shift my focus to the finer details, like removing dead skin cells or addressing subtle imperfections. If what I described is what you're looking for, then this is probably an investment worth looking into. So, up-and-coming and professional retouchers could definitely benefit from this program. If you're a portrait photographer who doesn't like to sit behind a computer desk and edit and want a quick, natural-looking retouch program, I think you should take a good look at Reblum. If you like to batch process without the dependency of being online, I think you should also consider Reblum. Without question, I work faster with Reblum in my workflow than without it. That does it for today's episode. What did you think about my presentation of Reblum? Are you going to add it to your retouching arsenal? Tell me about that in the comments below. And if you're interested in getting the program, I will leave a non-affiliate link in the description. I will not make any commission off of it. I charged to make the video and say what I wanted to say, but I will not make any money if you buy the program. I wanted to be very transparent about that. So if you're a fan of this channel, I humbly ask you to click the subscribe button below. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.